I'm going to start where most Pakistani shows refuse to start. The world outside Pakistan. Welcome to Fourth Pillar Post English. Because right now, international order is not changing. It's being unbuttoned, one precedent at a time. And when precedent or precedents become normal, smaller states don't get options, they get pressure. If powerful countries start treating borders, leaders and legitimacy as a flexible option, then everyone else learns one lesson. Might wins, paperwork follows later. That's why every time you hear a dramatic lines like something unimaginable is about to happen, I don't get impressed by that. I get irritated by that. Because in Pakistan, the unimaginable is usually just a weak man's imagination, packaged as a leak. So what I do always is, I do 2 plus 2. And when I do that, one thing is clear. The system in Pakistan is not moving because it has become wise. The system is moving because the external environment is tightening. And Pakistan is too fragile to absorb shocks with this internal deadlock. Look at Iran's switchboard now, the major switchboard, and why Pakistan's silence is louder than speeches. If Iran destabilizes, that's not local Iranian issue. That's a Middle East rewiring. Look at the Saudi calculations of the change. UAE is playing more aggressive. Qatar is already separated from Saudi base. So Middle East dynamics are changing. Egypt is staying relevant only through Israel. So no Gaza force. And suddenly, the region is pushed towards an ugly security arrangements that don't care about morality, only about the outcomes. And Pakistan sits right at the edge of this storm because we border with Iran. We are economically weak, politically split, and strategically confused. So tell me, why is our foreign posture so quiet where it should be firm? On some issues, we whisper, and on others, we overreact. On Iran, we are silent. And silence is not neutrality, silence is uncertainty or alignment ambiguity. And when you are ambiguous, everyone thinks you are available for pressure. Now put that regional storm next to the Pakistan's internal reality, and that you will understand why the establishment is suddenly open to talks, but allergic to admitting it. See, inside Pakistan, talks are real, but the system wants talks without paying the price. The deadlock is simple. They want settlement without reshuffling power. Khan wants settlement only if power reshuffling becomes real, not cosmetic. And the government is sitting like a showroom mannequin, present, smiling, but not driving the car. And that's why we are seeing two parallel tracks at once. One track is dialogue, soft language, confidence building, national unity, big tables, big statements. Second track is fear, terrorism linkages, threats, Governor Raj, hints, pressure tactics. Same goal, two methods, because they want a compromise, but they don't want to look like they compromised. Look at the DG ISPR's presser. It wasn't an update. It was a legal file prepared in advance. That press conference wasn't meant to convince PTI. It was meant to prepare the public and prepare the state machinery for whatever comes next. If talks succeed, it becomes we acted responsibly. If talks fail, it becomes we warned you. They were compromised. Action was necessary. That's why politics and terrorism was blended or were blended to create a single narrative rope. But this problem is when an institution starts speaking like a political talk show, it doesn't look strong. It looks irritated. Mocking a sitting chief minister of Khyber Pakhtunkhwa with the clips in press conference, turning elected speeches, speeches from MNAs and senators into punchlines. That's not a statecraft from an institution. That's a frustration. And then that line, the institution, the insinuation about why terrorists don't target PTI. See, even if the intention was to create a link, the optics were terrible because it exposes the mindset. Policy is being argued in press conferences by spokesperson of the state institution, like a forward, WhatsApp forward messages, not handled like a national crisis. KPK is the leverage point, but it's also the place where the lever can snap. They are trying to frame KPK like this. PTI isn't cooperating, PTI is blocking operations, PTI is soft on terrorism. Therefore, KPK government is a security risk. And then you keep the Governor Raj option on the table like a pistol, kept visible during negotiations. But here's what they underestimated. PTI didn't respond with the rebellion. PTI responded with Gandhigiri. Afridi didn't scream. CM Afridi, he didn't rant. He didn't play the emotional victim. He did the most annoying thing possible for coercive system. He offered cooperation publicly. If you're serious about the operations, he said, if you're serious about the operations towards the military establishment, then come sit with us. Make the plan with us. That single sentence flips the entire narrative, because now the question isn't why isn't PTI cooperating. The question becomes, if they are offering a joint plan and you still refused engagement, then this isn't security, this is personal. And the personal vendetta is not counter-terrorism doctrine. Also, the KPK is not Sindh, not Balochistan. It's politically charged province with the identity dynamics, especially inside the establishment. And the CM optics matter. He's not conventional elite politician. He's from the belt that state itself struggles to manage. Historically, the FATA. So any attempt to destabilize or for discipline can backfire harder than people in Islamabad or, for that matter, Pindi realize. Now look at the TTAP, Achakzai and the controlled theatre of stakeholders, how it has grown. Look at the choreography of that started appearing. Tehreek-e-Tahfuz-e-Ain Pakistan platform being floated, Lahore trips, outreach signals, stakeholders suddenly being remembered. Achakzai's role is interesting because he isn't some neutral philosopher, he is a bridge with his own wiring, especially towards Nawaz. When he talks about the broader arrangements, national setups, interim style formulas, it tells you that these options are at least being discussed somewhere. Then you have Rana Sana, a government minister, dropping the Big Five concept. That was not the casual line. That line quietly did something major. It placed Khan at the table of equals, at the same table as Chief of Defence Staff or Zardari Saab or Nawaz Sharif Saab, at least rhetorically. And when you call someone equal, you can't keep selling the public the myth that he's irrelevant. He's equal. But watch the contradiction. The same people who talk about serious talks also keep demanding that Khan should reduce his stature. That's not negotiation, that's ego management. And when ego management fails, they prepare for coercion or compromise, depending how the situation goes. See, Nawaz is also in the shadows, somewhere, at least I feel. And why these suggestions don't feel random. See, let's stop pretending these political suggestions are coming out of thin air. They are coming from somewhere. National government hints, confidence building formulas, disown this, distance from that, soft reset proposals, and then suddenly pressure narratives also return. See, this smell like somewhere also Nawaz style politics. Control the field, keep institution comfortable, manage optics, and ensure the settlement don't turn into reshuffle that threatens the long-term command, which Khan wants. Because the fear inside the system is not talks. The fear is the end result, what Khan wants. A power rebalancing that changes who owns the steering wheel. So the system keeps circling around a compromise that gives relief without giving control. Pakistan People's Party role becomes important, especially now. It's not a charity. It's a positioning inside a controlled experiment. Come to Sindh. People are acting like Pakistan People's Party suddenly grew spine and PMLN suddenly lost a soul. That's childish. Pakistan People's Party is positioning a bridge because bridges survive when roads collapse. If Sindh has allowed CM Afridi a warmer reception in Sindh, if rally permissions are appearing, if Baghe-Jinnah space is being available, this didn't happen on Pakistan People's Party's personal bravery alone. This happened because it wasn't blocked at the higher level, at least not blocked, even if not given a green signal. So I see it as an experiment. Try easing temperature, maybe through People's Party. Try creating political space without openly owning a deal. Try managing optics so the system doesn't look like it's surrendered to Imran Khan. See, Pakistan People's Party benefits either way. If accommodation happens, Pakistan People's Party becomes the channel. If accommodation fails and chaos rises, Pakistan People's Party still remains relevant as the reasonable side. That's not love, that's survival politics. So what happens next? My read is blunt. At least the world order and the Pakistani politics. These talks are real because pressure is real. Threats are real because the system wants talks on its own terms. Threats as in international threats, February 8 and everything. Khan isn't bending because he believes only reshuffling protects him. And the system keeps improvising daily because it cannot publicly accept the price of compromise. And that's why you see rapid fire narratives. National government one day, Wonder Boy next day, big fight next day, terror narrative again, Governor Raj hints again, and then we are serious, but PTI is not serious, and then they will say we tried. It's not a master plan. It's a trapped system testing different exits. And in the end, compromise is never produced by the wisdom here. It's produced by whoever gets trapped first. See, by timeline, either by external pressure or by internal blowback. Pakistan cannot afford a global storm with the domestic civil war of narratives right now. Because of the international, what is happening in the international politics right now. The dog eats dog world is going to happen. Because if one spark in KPK, in Balochistan, anywhere, then suddenly you're not debating talks. You're managing a national emergency. And that is exactly why, despite all the drama, despite all the threats, despite all the ego, the system will eventually move towards accommodation. Not because it wants to, but because it have to.